We'll get to our first film then, Gold. Matthew McConaughey, famous for his reconnaissance, when he had that big bit of fortune and loads of good roles. Well, does it continue or does it all come crashing down? We'll talk about it. We'll also hear from the man himself after this clip.
Indonesia. Gold. Now, I'd been to Indonesia 5 or 6 years earlier. I still had a little money in my pocket. You know, Indonesia was booming, and I was looking for a way to get in. Where back then, if you wanted to put a hole in the ground in Indonesia, you wanted Mike Acosta telling you where to dig. He was what they call a river walker. They're a real hands-on geologist, real deal. Oxford College, MIT, his mom was Venezuelan, his dad was English. Now, you see, he just discovered the largest copper strike in Southeast Asia. And everybody wanted a piece of it, including me. Kenny's a great big dreamer. A guy who has dreams. He's kind of been on when you meet him, he's at the bottom of the barrel. He's not doing too well. Took over his father's company that was very successful, and he's run it into the ground. And he's a guy who literally gets drunk enough that he has a vision. He has a dream one night that there's gold over in this place that he'd been to some 8 years earlier. And he's brave enough to follow up on that dream.
Matthew McConaughey talking about Gold, which, Steph, you saw last night, Wednesday night?
I did saw last night at the Empire Cinemas.
We're going to get to what we thought of it, but first I'll tell you what it's about. So basically, it's the story of a guy called Kenny Wells, and at the start of the film, he's an unlucky businessman. His partner is Bryce Dallas Howard, you might see from Jurassic World and other stuff. And he's down into the start of the film. It's him with his father. His father passes away literally after that scene. We jump forward 9 years, I think it was.
No, it was seven. Yeah, because it started in 1981.
And ended in 88,
yeah.
So McConaughey is this guy who starts the film looking like Matthew McConaughey, looking pretty slick, looking pretty cool,
looking like Matthew McConaughey.
And then when we get to the time of the story is mostly set, he's put on a few pounds. I think he put on about £50 for this role, Mr. McConaughey.
It was ridiculous. Like, I was reading on IMDb that his only diet was like burgers, milkshake and beer.
I bet he enjoyed that.
He even shaved his own head off.
Shaved his own head off?
Like, you know the big, like, if you've seen the posters, you'll know that, there's a strip of hair gone, like, down.
He's got, like, the side bit still there. He's got, like, still a few hairs on top, so he looks a bit greasy and that.
Yeah.
And he's this sort of, from what I thought, this kind of, like, opportunistic guy who hasn't necessarily worked hard to get what he wants, and has just sort of come upon it, and as such is now successful. When he teams up with a geologist, Mike Acosta, played by Édgar Ramírez, to find gold in Indonesia. And it starts off to find this sort of gold water thing, and then they think maybe there's some gold there as well. They dig it up, they find gold, and suddenly they're sitting on billions and billions of pounds worth of, dollars worth of gold. So there you go. First of all, do you think that, because he in this, I've heard him speak, this McConaughey, saying that it's the American dream story. What do you think? What do you think about the character himself? Because I'm not too sure if I wrote him for him or not. I think to spend 2 hours with a character who hasn't done necessarily that much to earn billions and billions of dollars, wasn't that enthused by him.
No. Kenny Wells, at the start, you can see him as like, how can I say this without being horrible? You can see him as a dog, like, trying to reach for his goals and stuff like that. He's literally, like, grinding and working for his father, because it was a successful company.
He wants to, like, sort of make his dad proud, doesn't he?
Yeah. Like, 6 or 7 years later, you find him, like, in a bar, doing the same company, but he's just let himself go. He's just, like...
He's working on scraps.
Like, he just gets drunk every single night, and it kind of didn't make me feel sympathetic. It kind of just made me feel like, well, you didn't try hard enough.
Do you think it's one of those films a bit like Wolf of Wall Street where you're not supposed to...
This film definitely reminded me of Wolf of Wall Street, and I kind of got a bit, like, tired of it halfway through. Because I like, this is exactly like Wolf
It's an hour shorter than Wolf of Wall Street as well.
That's why I still rate it, because it's an hour shorter.
Right, so, like, there's an hour less, therefore it's actually, like, less horrible. Did you not like Wolf of Wall
I didn't
Street?
like the length of it. Like, I
Right.
remember watching it back home. Like, I remember watching it, like, with my friend, and then we sat doing it. I did not realise it was about, like, close to 3 hours. I thought it was going to be, like, 2 hours. And then I was there, like, I was there, like, 2-minute mark, waiting for the black screen to come up, and it's still going. I'm there, like, like, what's going on? And she's like, oh, you didn't know, it's like 3 hours. Like, 3 hours?
I think it's 3 hours bang on as well, actually, yeah.
I literally was like, it was not worth my time. Like, it's a good film, but they could have cut it by, like,
Possibly.
I don't know, an hour and a half.
Yeah, I think it's a similar kind of film where you're not. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you are or not. I personally didn't feel any sort of interest in the character. I thought that what he did was very opportunistic and, you know, just seized upon something that wasn't his, and therefore I felt like he kind of didn't earn it.
I wasn't invested in
No, not at all.
in McConaughey's character at all. I just felt he didn't try hard enough. He just literally latched on to Édgar Ramírez's character and just rode on him to get success.
I think the assumption the film suggests is that he has been working hard all this time to get it, but it doesn't really illustrate that enough. I think it jumps straight from him being a hard worker to being that sort of, you know, guy who just wants to sort of capitalise on somebody else's success.
Yeah.
There's not enough. I mean, I'm not saying the film should be any longer because it already felt damn long, but I would have liked to see more effort made to actually show the journey he'd been on to get from point A to point B, because I kind of thought it got to the point where it just happened, didn't it? It didn't really spend a long time.
It just happened, like, suddenly, like, it happened and everything, and he was reaping all the rewards. So that bit, like, kind of, like, bored me, because it just there, like, oh, well, this I was there going, but this happens all the time, like, in everyday life. Like, someone doesn't try hard enough, but yet they reap all the rewards. What I liked, though, was the plot twist, like, near enough at the end. That got me interested.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I suppose that's when I kind of sat on my seat and went, okay, I've got a bit more respect for it. But really, I can't call it good or bad.
No.
I kind of just give it a bit of a shoulder shrug. I think it wants to be Wolf of Wall Street, but it just can't be.
It doesn't reach there.
No, and I think McConaughey gives it a lot of effort, as you'd expect him to do, because his career went through that period, and I say went in past tense, went through that period where he was just so hot and so, you know, in demand, and he chose right roles after so many years of choosing rom-coms, and, well, not choosing them, but just out of necessity because his stock was kind of falling. He had to pay the bills, he did those roles. This one, I think he has genuine enthusiasm for. I think you can see that in the performance, and I've heard him say that he saw the script and he knew he wanted to play that character. He turned down other roles to do this one, and I feel like he gives it enough energy to make it watchable, but he should have had better material to work with.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think the script was just a bit bare to me, and I'm not gonna even lie. Like, I didn't even like hear what they were saying sometimes because the accent is so well done. It's almost
Unintelligible.
So that's when I just like switched off. But yeah,
I can't really recommend it because I just think it was boring and I can't remember any of it. I think I might have dozed off. And for a film like this, which has that soundtrack, it has New Order, it has a bit of Joy Division, it has lots of 80s music, which should kind of pique my interest. It's just the rest of it, really. So all I'm saying here is that the only good thing is the music and how much commitment the cast gave. And I think Bryce Dallas Howard should have had more to do.
she should have had more. I was really annoyed that her role was that, like, minuscule, because I really wanted her to, like, have more, like,
just more to do.
Just more. It just didn't seem like she was just there as, like, a prop. It just annoyed me. I was like, so she just disappears, like, what?
And she's pretty much the only female character in the main cast.
Yeah,
which obviously presents the film as a bit of a boys' club.
Yeah, there's also Rachel Taylor, who stars as a finance Rachel Hill.
Yeah,
as a finance hotshot. When reading about this, I was quite surprised that it was actually based on a true story. Like,
it is. It's the 1993 Bryce mining scandal.
And I was quite surprised because I was just there thinking, like, I've not heard about this, but then again, this was in 1993.
No.
I wasn't born till 95, but I just felt they could have done something more with it. It wasn't something that I would watch again.
No, absolutely not.
But it's there. I mean, I would suggest you don't watch it in the cinema. You just wait till it comes out on DVD.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's probably a good rental thing. You can just sort of watch it. It certainly wasn't worth me dragging myself out of bed on Friday to go and see it. I don't really think it was worth it. I did, however, notice that ice cream was on offer in Asda. Or similar supermarket, should add. It was on offer, so I got a tub of that. I got some spoons, and I had that, and that made me feel a bit better because the film wasn't up to much.
I tried nachos for the first time at the cinema.
No,
As much as I like Empire Cinemas, I think I'll just stick to the popcorn, thanks.
popcorn's good, and at least they serve it in a bucket.
Yeah, the nachos.
Popcorn in a bucket.
The nachos are
Fine.
served like in this sort of box thing.
Yeah.
I got the regular nachos, yeah, and I was gonna get salsa. I said, "Oh, it's only 65p if you want an extra side." I was like, "All right, let's stick the cheese in." Thinking, "Oh, it's gonna be nice." The nachos to me taste a bit like stale cereal.
Were they not like? Were they a bit too soft?
I think they're a bit malty.
Bit melty.
Not melty, malty, like
Malty.
malt. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, no offense to like the Empire Cinemas, like nachos is just not me. But I
Not
tried and tested. Might just stick to the popcorn and the ice blast deal. But
I never had an ice blast. Never had one before.
you've never had one.
Never had one.
Then what's
I tend not to get cinema food really.
You need no like. I would eat before going to cinema, but
Yeah.
I always get myself an ice blast.
I might get one next time I'm there.
You need to. It's amazing.
Do you get brain freeze?
No,
No.
because I'm actually clever enough not to like have it in like one go.
That's a good point, to be fair. I'll probably take it in one go. So what we're saying is that the film, nah,
No,
not really.
Not really.
And the nachos could be all right.
Yeah, they're okay. Not for me though.
So what we're saying is the nachos are better than the film.
Essentially, yeah.
Cool.